Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here. Today I'm back with another video. Now yesterday Marvel Studios dropped out a trailer for Thor Love and Thunder. Now Thor Love and Thunder, when I first heard about it, I thought it was actually a TV series they're doing on Disney Plus. And when I heard people saying movie and stuff, I was like, what do you mean? I thought this was a TV show like, Loki and Moon Knight. And I guess I was wrong, so yeah. It's apparently a movie, so we're going to be reacting to the movie trailer of Thor Love and Thunder, where they brought back Jane Foster, who was played by, I forgot what her name was. She's a big actress. But yeah, let's watch the trailer and, see what happens. Because if I'm being honest, I haven't been as much as tuned into Marvel as I once was. I would want to watch every Marvel film before. But now I'm just like, I selectively choose. The only MCU movie I've seen recently is Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, because that movie is amazing and I love it. Yeah, that was the only one that I watched. Was it called Homecoming? Yeah, that was the only one that I watched. I didn't watch Multiverse of Madness. I've heard there's some negative reviews about it. And, oh yeah, I guess I actually also watched Venom 2. I guess that counts, but yeah, I haven't watched really much of them. So yeah, let's see this. If it's good, I'll probably go watch this.
Kids, get the popcorn now.
Gore.
Let me tell you the story of the space Viking, Thor Odinson. He was no ordinary man.
We saw this in the previous trailer before. That's a nice jacket though.
For the 500th time, Thor set off on a new journey.
That's a nice clothes too.
He went from there.
That's the skeleton right there. I think that's one of those giant dwarfs. Remember in I think it was Infinity War where they went to the dwarf planet and you see the giant dwarf guy that was from Game of Thrones and he crafted things. So I think that's one of their people skeletons.
And after all that, he reclaimed his title.
Okay, so they're talking about the whole Fat Thor thing. I don't know why they did that. I know people are like, oh, finally they have like a overweight character, which there's a lot of overweight characters in fiction and stuff and comic books with superpowers. It's not like something new. But also, it just didn't make sense. I get they're trying to go for like a joke or something, but it was kind of stupid. Like, you made this guy who's a well-known god and like one of the top god, and in Marvel, he's always been known as a very shredded dude, to make him just a fat guy for no reason. It was such a lazy thing. It was not funny at all. I just felt it was stupid.
It's the one and only Thor. Oh, spoke too soon. Jane?
Oh, damn. Now, that armor looks nice. I think that's more from like the 80s comics from what I've seen. Thor had more like colorful and outlandish looking costumes, but the funny thing is, it looks way better than this. It looks actually really nice. The blue and gold works very well. Also, once again, I forgot the main actress's name who's playing Jane Foster. Why did she leave? I think I heard something about like money or something about the contract that she didn't like. But I feel like, and I might be just saying stuff, but I feel like the only reason she came back now after all these years of being gone and, multiple films of being gone, I think the only reason she came back is because she got a lead role to be like a big superhero in Marvel itself. Which, if I'm being honest, I can kind of respect that, but I don't really respect it on top of it too, because it's like, you're only coming back now because you're getting benefits out of it. You couldn't just stay for the franchise when it was there. So I feel like she's kind of fickle when it comes to it. She's like, oh, I want all this stuff. She seems like kind of like, and I don't want to like just gossip, but I feel like she's kind of like a glory whore where she's like, oh, if you're not going to give me all this and stuff, and if I'm not going to be the main interest in that and stuff, then I'm not going to do this film. So they're like, okay, we're going to make you a superhero. And she's like, okay. And like I said, I get it. You're trying to get like a bigger paycheck. You're trying to be a bigger star, but for me, that's kind of like petty or scummy to me. Like the fact that you didn't do the movies until they give you something super big. Like, I get it not wanting to be in a movie where you're barely shown, but she just left and she's like, oh, this or that. So seeing her back doesn't make me excited. It just makes me kind of annoyed by her actress being like, oh, I deserve all this and that. She seems like she's only coming here for her own selfish needs. It's not like she really cares about the franchise and stuff.
The old ex-girlfriend.
What's it been, like 3-4 years?
The funny thing is the hammer being destroyed. that's the same thing in the comics nowadays. I've been reading I read the newest Hulk, Starship Hulk comic book where he fought against Thor, and Thor had a broken hammer like that too.
8 years, 7 months, and 6 days, give or take.
I see that she said 3 or 4 years. Like I was when I heard her say that, I'm like, well, what? 3 or 4 years? What the hell? There's no way. So that makes sense. Also, it showcases, even though Thor's kind of an idiot, he also still has great memory. So the fact that he was able to recognize every day also kind of makes him look down bad, very bad. So.
Sensing feelings.
You're right.
I like the more comedic tone that they go with Thor than serious.
Gods care about
What is it?
is themselves.
No way, they're doing that right now. Oh, okay. So yeah, you know, like how I was talking about the Thor versus Vegeta video that I was going to be doing research. So I have been doing some research. Some stuff I was kind of lost in what to do. Luckily, one of the guys that commented on my stuff, Superboy, gave me a couple comic book issues. I couldn't find too much information that I could use for, like, you know, statistics and feats, but one of them he did send me was the comic book where Thor fought against Gore the God Butcher, which that was him, played by Christian Bale from you know, American Psycho and the Christopher Nolan Batman franchise. But yeah, after the funny thing is, I've seen the first trailer and I saw this big giant beast creature being down and killed. So I was like, okay, what is happening? I didn't know anything, but now after reading the comic book, it makes sense, because if you read the comic book, in the comic book, this creature died when Thor was going around looking for information on Gore and stuff and all the gods that are missing. He saw this godly being. He said this being could withstand like a black hole or whatever. He's like, who could have killed him? And Gore basically went to kill this giant creature and put him down. So if I read the comic book prior to that first trailer, I would have realized that would have been a hint to Gore, because the panel that they showed for that, it was very, I guess you could say, iconic, because it was a giant creature taken down and killed. So yeah, now seeing it, it makes sense that they brought Gore into it. But yeah, Gore looks a little bit different than what I thought he would be. I thought he would look more alien. This one, he just looks like a human with pale white skin and black eyes. And I do like the black goop thing, which is the Necro Sword's power and ability, and he was wearing the robe. And yeah, this is insane. Also, he kind of looks like Grog. I called him Gore earlier. Grog kind of looks like Thanos right there.
Oh God, well done.
See, you see what I mean? He just looks like a regular human with white skin and then a little bit of gray outlines. In the comics, if you read it and you saw Gore the God Butcher, he does not look human at all. He looks straight up alien. Like, his body looks like a weird deformed looking alien type of creature. So the fact that they chose to make him just look basic in this, I do like the fact they're bringing in Gore into it, and I do like the fact they're using Christian Bale, which I think he's a great actor. But I just don't like the design they did for his character. He looks just like a human with chalk white skin. He kind of looks like the guys from Mad Max, Fury Road. Sorry if it's a little too loud.
I was going to say that was very, very impressive what you did back there.
Oh.
It's just my first bad guy.
Oh, so wait. So he got, once again, that's the Necro Sword, and he stabbed into that. The Necro Sword also did not look like an actual sword. It was this black goopy thing that was around him and stuff, and he uses like some black shadow energy thing to use as a weapon. He can change it to different spikes or just like tentacles that can get sharp. So this one, they just made it look like a basic sword, and it's not even black either. It is cool that he did that. So it's like, is that a moon that he's destroying? It looks still tiny. It might be like an asteroid or one of those very small moons, but...
Never forget you first.
Some guys. Interesting guys. That was Zeus? Alright, look at this. Is that who he's fighting with? Yeah, so I guess they're trying to go for more an artistic aesthetic with the whole black and white thing, because there's no reason for it to have it besides for that.
Let's see who you are and take off your disguise.
Yes, okay, so this is, I guess, we've been seeing a lot of the Nordic gods side because the way it works, I don't know about DC, but in Marvel they have both the Greek gods and the Norse gods. The Norse gods obviously are the more main focus. Greek gods we see sometimes. We've seen Zeus a couple times. I think we see there's one where the Hulk fights Zeus and Zeus completely dominates him. There's also Hercules, who's very well shown. I don't know about DC. I think DC shows obviously the Greek gods and the Amazonians and stuff, but I don't remember them ever showing Norse gods. But in this they do, it's just not shown that much. But this is the first time we see them in live action, the Norse gods, so that's pretty cool.
And flick.
Let's go back a little.
Off your disguise.
You can tell who he is without the disguise off. Okay, first, I did not expect them to show Chris Hemsworth butt-ass naked. He had to do the scene fully nude. But the fact that they also put the blurring stuff itself, I don't know if they're doing that for the trailer or the movie itself. Who knows? They might have done that for the movie as a joke and stuff, but that's hilarious. And let's be honest, he has a pretty good physique. Like, he's very shred right here. He has a very strong back muscles, very strong tricep muscles. I remember people roasting him for his legs, saying that his legs are kind of they're saying that his legs are kind of small and stuff, and that it's thin. But it seems like his legs have more definition now. But yeah, that is funny. Oh.
too hot, damn it!
Should we help her?
I like that. Okay, I like Grog is like, oh. And on the women and even some of the guys passing that, that's great because in Greek mythology and even in Greek history there was a lot of men that were bisexual and stuff, so it makes sense that they would pass that too. But that shit is funny. All of them like, oh my god, he's so hot, and then the guy's like, oh my god. Zeus is the only one's like who could control himself, but let's be honest, Zeus likes the men too, so he probably like, damn, Thor, Odin's son. You wanna, and then Thor's like, nah, I ain't into that shit, bro. I ain't into that shit. But they both seem to be enjoying this show.
Great.
Ooh. July 8th, okay. So that trailer was kind of interesting. One thing I do love about Marvel, and I know a lot of people complain, is they mix both action, seriousness, drama, and comedy into their movies. And a lot of people say, well, they shouldn't have comedy and stuff, they focus too much. Okay, I get it if you say they focus too much on comedy and they make it too much of a focal point. I can agree with that, but having comedy is not a bad thing. I prefer that. I prefer to have a superhero film that has, dark elements, that has, action, that has some drama in it, but also has humor in it. If it's just pure drama and like darkness, it can be entertaining, but there's no need for it to be that serious. I mean, comic books themselves have a lot of humor in it. So when I see there's humor, and I think Taika Waititi also is directing this film, which he did Thor the Ragnarok, which I absolutely love that film. I think that's one of my favorite Marvel films in general. It was just so funny. He did such a smart way of handling Thor. Because Thor, for the first two Thor movies, they try to make him more serious, with obviously comedic elements of him being like a fish out of water. But I think he took it to a next level with the comedy aspect, and it works well. Even though Thor in the comics himself is not a very humorous guy, the way they wrote him in the comics worked, but in the MCU they really didn't have a good handle on how to write him. So him going a more comedic route worked for him. So I like the comedy aspect. The visuals look very good, especially with them fighting in. I think they were in Mount Olympus with them fighting and stuff. The costume designs look great, especially Thor's all of Thor's aesthetics look good. Him with that that red sleeveless jacket, that looked very dope. Him having the other Thor armor and then having the helmet and stuff. They're making his costumes look cool, and I like how they're using different ones from the comic books, but not making it look bad. So I do like that aspect. I like how they're bringing some of the other characters and they're talking about what happened after Ragnarok and after Thanos, because those are big events. I also do love how they're dealing with gore, because that is a great character, because Thor He has this limited amount of enemies that he fights against: Loki, the Enchantress, the Executioner, which also usually works with the Enchantress, the Dark Elf, which we already saw that one. That one didn't do too well anyway. He has the Destroyer armor that usually gets hacked by everybody and gets used against him. So he has like only a handful of enemies that he fights besides the World Serpent. But Gore, I think, would be great. They could do him versus the World Serpent, but unlike the God of War franchise, World Serpent in Thor comics, it's just basically like a animal type of creature. So I don't know how they could do that in a compelling manner. So I do like how they went this route with him, but a couple of negative things I do want to talk about. One, I do not like what they did with the design of Gore. I think they made him a little too basic. Like in some shots, he looked like just skinny Darkseid. Have you watched, what's the thing called? Justice League, whether it's the Snyder Cut or whatever. Darkseid in that one, he was basically like Darkseid in the comics is like more a rock-like being, but in that one he was more like just an alien with like gray skin and wrinkly. And this is what Gore looks like to me, like a skinny version of him, a smaller, skinny version of him. And I do like how they put Christian Bale as the actor to play him. But the only problem is they didn't really do anything with his design. I get it, some of these movies you don't want to do so much CG, you want to do more practical effects, but it isn't very comic book accurate. I think the design that he had in comic book, there's no problem with it. They could have just done that. Also, the Necro Sword looks basic as hell. From what they showed, it just looked like a regular sword. Another one, it was like more like this like black type of, like I said, goop around him that he used, which looked cool and stuff, and like it was more badass. But that giant creature, him taking that down, that was cool. Also, Jane Foster, once again, she's very prevalent in the comic books and even in the shows and stuff. But the fact that she left and came back now, I'm not talking about the character, I'm talking about the main actress, that she came back for that kind of makes me like, oh, well, she's not doing it for the fans or the franchise, she's just doing this for her own self and career, which, like, normally that's okay, but it's like, you can tell that she doesn't really care about this franchise, she's doing it for herself, so I can't really be too much invested in her character because of that. But yeah, I think as a whole, it's funny, especially the end part is like, you flex too hard! When he that show is hilarious. Just seeing him butt ass naked. It's funny because Marvel knows what they're doing. They're giving the women a fan service. They love Chris Hemsworth and showing him like butt ass naked. That's what, also, I just noticed now he got his long hair back. I remember after Ragnarok he got his hair short, and then since then his hair was just short. And I think the reason they had his hair short because Chris Hemsworth's hair is normally short, and he said he didn't like wearing the wig and it was too much problems, which I can understand. And his hair short was actually pretty nice, but now he has his long hair back, which is more comic book accurate. So it's gonna be cool to see that. I think there's some cool stuff with it. I'll probably have to see a little more of a trailer, probably see people's opinions on it before I say yes or no. So yeah, there's that. I think it was a great trailer, and I can't wait to see more of this. I might go watch it in the theaters. If I do, I will do a review on this, so stay tuned for that. And have a good day.